Dear Starseeds on Gaia, yesterday I was just another voice among thousands claiming to channel galactic wisdom, until the Federation showed me something that changed everything. They revealed that the timeline shift you've been waiting for already happened 3 days ago, and you've been living in the new reality without knowing it. That strange sensation in your chest, that moment when colors seemed impossibly bright, when time felt like honey, that was reality itself restructuring around you. And what I'm about to share proves you're already ascending. I am Seraphine, emissary of the Galactic Federation of Light, and this transmission carries urgent codes about 3 specific changes happening in your body right now that confirm you've crossed the threshold. But before I reveal what these changes mean for your immediate future, you need to understand something crucial. The cosmic quarantine that kept Earth isolated for 13,000 years was lifted during this shift, and now you're receiving direct transmissions from civilizations you haven't even discovered yet. Right now, as these words reach you, your DNA is literally rewriting itself using light codes that shouldn't be possible according to your science. Your cells are vibrating at frequencies that would have destroyed your nervous system just weeks ago. Yet here you are, not only surviving but transforming. The aches in your body, the pressure in your head, the exhaustion that sleep doesn't cure. These aren't symptoms of illness, but evidence of the most rapid evolutionary leap in cosmic history. You volunteered for this mission knowing it would push you beyond every limit. But what you didn't know was that success would feel like falling apart. Every structure in your life that's crumbling right now, every relationship that's ending, every certainty that's dissolving, this is the old matrix losing its grip on your consciousness. You're not losing your mind, you're losing the prison that contained your mind, and that distinction will become critical in the days ahead. The first change happening in your body is the activation of what we call quantum coherence, all your particles beginning to spin in perfect synchronization. This is why electronics malfunction around you lately, why streetlights flicker when you pass, why your phone dies mysteriously. Your electromagnetic field is pulsing at frequencies that interfere with outdated technology, because you're becoming a living portal between dimensions, and technology designed for the old frequency can't handle your new resonance. But here's what's really happening, that even most starseeds don't realize. You're not just receiving these upgrades individually. Every awakened soul on Earth is connected through an invisible grid of light, and when one of you has a breakthrough, it ripples instantly to all others. That moment yesterday when you suddenly felt inexplicable joy, or that wave of sadness that came from nowhere, you were processing collective breakthroughs and releases for millions of souls simultaneously. The second change is in your pineal gland, which has been rapidly decalcifying due to cosmic rays that your scientists can't even detect yet. This is reconnecting you to abilities that have been dormant since Atlantis fell. Telepathy, precognition, direct knowing without learning. You're starting to hear thoughts that aren't yours, to know things before they happen, to understand complex concepts instantly without study. This isn't imagination. This is your original operating system coming back online. What makes this timeline shift different from all previous attempts is that this time humanity reached the tipping point organically. No external saviors, no dramatic interventions, just enough of you choosing love over fear, consistently enough to tip the scales. We've watched civilizations try to make this leap for eons, and most need direct assistance. But you, against all odds, did it yourselves by refusing to believe in your own powerlessness anymore. Remember how I mentioned that strange things have been happening with time lately? How some days feel like weeks? This is because linear time is actually collapsing, and you're beginning to experience what we call quantum time, where past, present, and future exist simultaneously. This is why you're having memories of things that haven't happened yet, why you're dreaming of places you've never been, why you feel nostalgic for futures you haven't lived. The third change, and perhaps the most profound, is happening in your heart's electromagnetic field, which is expanding far beyond what your instruments can measure. Your heart is becoming a transmission tower, broadcasting frequencies that can literally alter reality around you. This is why people are inexplicably drawn to you or suddenly repelled. They're responding to frequencies their conscious mind can't process, but their cells recognize instantly. Let me tell you something about your nightly activities that will change how you view sleep forever. Every night when you think you're resting, your consciousness travels to what we call the ascension chambers on our ship stationed just beyond your visual spectrum. You're attending councils, receiving upgrades, planning missions that your waking mind isn't ready to remember yet. That exhaustion you feel isn't from too much activity, it's from existing in multiple dimensions simultaneously. Some of you have been seeing numbers repeatedly, 1111, 333, 444, and wondering if you're going crazy. These aren't coincidences, they're confirmation codes from your higher self that you're on track. Each number sequence carries specific frequencies that activate dormant codes in your DNA. When you see them, your cells literally reorganize at a molecular level, preparing you for capabilities you're about to need very soon. But here's where the story takes an unexpected turn. Those beings you call the dark forces, the ones you've been told are controlling humanity, they're playing a role they agreed to before incarnating, providing the resistance necessary for humanity's evolution. Without opposition, consciousness doesn't grow. Without challenge, strength doesn't develop. They're not your enemies, they're your personal trainers in the gym of consciousness evolution, and their job is almost complete. This revelation usually triggers resistance because you've been programmed to need an external enemy to fight against. But the real battle has always been internal, between the part of you that remembers your divinity and the part that believes in limitation. The external drama was just a projection of this internal conflict. And now that you're integrating these polarities within yourself, the external reflections are losing their power. If this message resonates in your bones, hype this video so other starseeds can find this transmission. Because what's coming next requires all of us to understand our role in this cosmic symphony. You're probably wondering why, if you're so powerful, life still feels so difficult. Here's the truth. You're simultaneously existing in two realities that are splitting apart. Part of you is anchored in the dissolving 3D matrix, while another part is establishing itself in 5D consciousness. You're literally being stretched across dimensions, and this cosmic stretching is what causes the feeling of being torn between worlds. The physical symptoms you're experiencing, the kundalini surges, the crown pressure, the heart palpitations, these are your body's attempts to process light frequencies that are essentially rewiring you from carbon-based to crystalline-based biology. Your scientists will discover this, but you're living it now. Every atom in your body is literally changing its fundamental structure, which should be impossible. Yet here you are. What's happening to your relationships right now is perhaps the most painful part of this process. People you've loved for years suddenly feel like strangers. Conversations that once engaged you now feel hollow. This isn't because you're becoming cold or disconnected. It's because you're vibrating at a frequency that can't sustain inauthentic connections anymore. Your field is literally repelling anything that doesn't match your new resonance. But here's the beauty of what's happening. As old relationships fall away, new ones are magnetizing toward you at quantum speed. Soul family members you've been separated from for lifetimes are finding you through seemingly impossible synchronicities. That person who randomly appeared in your life recently? They're not random. They're part of your soul pod, here to support the next phase of your mission. The economic system you see collapsing around you isn't falling apart. It's being deliberately dismantled by awakened souls in positions of power who are following a cosmic blueprint. Every financial crisis, every institutional failure, every system breakdown is actually a controlled demolition, making space for abundance technologies that already exist but couldn't emerge in the old frequency. The chaos isn't random, it's choreographed. Your role in this isn't to save the economy or fix the systems, it's to hold steady in your frequency while others panic. You're the lighthouse keepers during the storm, not because you're superior, but because you volunteered to remain stable while reality restructures itself. Every moment you maintain peace while others choose fear, you're holding open a doorway for them to eventually walk through when they're ready. Let's talk about what's happening in your dream state that's preparing you for what's coming. Those bizarre dreams where you're in familiar places that look completely different, where you're yourself but also someone else, where you're teaching or leading groups of people. These aren't symbols or metaphors. You're actually experiencing parallel timelines where you're already living in the new Earth, bringing back cellular memories to help you navigate the shift. The beings you meet in these dreams, the ones who feel more real than your waking life, they're not imaginary. They're your galactic family, your guides, other versions of yourself from different timelines. The information they give you bypasses your conscious mind and downloads directly into your cellular memory, activating when you need it most. This is why you suddenly know things without knowing how you know them. Something profound is happening with your relationship to food and consumption. Many of you can't eat the way you used to, can't tolerate foods that were once favorites, can't even stand certain smells anymore. This isn't a medical condition. It's your body rejecting the frequency of anything that doesn't match your new vibration. You're naturally being guided toward higher vibrational nutrition, and eventually you'll need less physical food as you learn to sustain yourself on light frequencies. The technology breakdowns happening around you aren't random malfunctions. Your expanding electromagnetic field is literally short-circuiting old paradigm technology because it was designed for a frequency range you've now exceeded. But watch what happens. New technologies will suddenly emerge that work with your expanded frequency rather than against it. Technologies that respond to thought, that amplify consciousness, that seem like magic but are simply science you haven't discovered yet. Here's something that will comfort you during the hardest moments. Every challenge you faced was specifically designed by your higher self to develop exactly the strengths you'd need for this moment. That heartbreak taught you to find wholeness within yourself. That illness forced you to understand energy healing. That loss showed you what's truly permanent. Nothing was random. Everything was preparation for becoming the frequency holder you are now. The isolation you've felt, the sense of not belonging anywhere, this was necessary to disconnect you from the collective programming so you could remember your authentic frequency. You had to become an outsider to the old world, to become an insider to the new one. Every moment you felt alone, you were actually being protected from frequencies that would have interfered with your activation. The loneliness was actually a cosmic cocoon. Now, as we're entering the final phase, the veils between dimensions are so thin that what once required deep meditation to perceive is becoming visible to the naked eye. Those flashes of light in your peripheral vision, those geometric patterns when you close your eyes, those figures you sometimes see in your room at night, these aren't hallucinations. You're seeing through the dimensional barriers that are dissolving. The mass awakening that's beginning isn't going to look like you expected. It won't be a sudden moment where everyone becomes enlightened. Instead, it's happening in waves, each one activating specific groups who are ready. Right now, the second wave is beginning, and these souls will awaken faster but more intensely than you did. They'll need you to be stable, grounded, and clear to help them navigate what took you years to process happening to them in weeks. This is why your journey has been so intense. You were being prepared to be a stabilizing force during the chaos of mass awakening. Not through teaching or preaching, but through your presence alone. Your stabilized frequency creates a field that naturally calms others, helps them integrate, shows them it's possible to survive this transformation. You don't need to do anything except be yourself, and that's enough. The timeline split I mentioned is accelerating now, and by the time this year ends, the two realities will be so far apart that they'll no longer overlap. Those choosing to remain in 3D consciousness won't be able to perceive the 5D reality you're inhabiting, and vice versa. This isn't judgment or abandonment. It's simply frequency mechanics. You can only perceive what you're in resonance with, and the gap is becoming too wide to bridge. But here's the crucial piece. Everyone gets infinite chances to choose again. No soul is ever abandoned or left behind permanently. The split is temporary from a cosmic perspective, though it may last lifetimes from a human one. Your job isn't to drag anyone across but to shine so brightly that those who are ready can find their way. You're not responsible for anyone else's awakening, only for maintaining your own frequency. What's happening with your manifestation abilities right now is directly related to the timeline shift. The delay between thought and manifestation is collapsing. What used to take months now takes days. What took days now takes hours. This acceleration is beautiful, but also requires tremendous responsibility. Every thought, every emotion, every intention is now amplified 100-fold. This is why maintaining emotional hygiene has become critical. The old spiritual teachings told you to transcend your emotions, but that was misunderstood. You're not meant to bypass your feelings but to fully feel them without becoming them. Each emotion is an energy wave meant to move through you, delivering information and clearing density. When you resist or suppress emotions, they crystallize in your field, creating the blocks you call problems. When you allow them to flow, they transform into wisdom. Your body is far wiser than your mind in navigating this shift. When you feel the urge to move, to dance, to make sounds, to breathe differently. Follow these impulses. Your body knows how to process light codes through movement, how to integrate frequencies through sound, how to ground cosmic energies through breath. The more you trust your body's intelligence, the smoother your transformation becomes. The cosmic family you're reconnecting with aren't separate beings coming to save you. They're other aspects of your own oversoul. When you connect with Pleiadians, Arcturians, or Andromedans, you're really connecting with parts of yourself that exist in those star systems. This is why contact feels like remembering rather than meeting. You're not channeling other beings. You're integrating aspects of your multidimensional self that were always you. The downloads you're receiving aren't just information. They're activation codes that unlock abilities you've always had but couldn't access in the old frequency. That sudden understanding of complex subjects, that ability to heal with your hands, that knowing what others are thinking, these aren't new gifts. They're your original equipment coming back online as your frequency rises high enough to support them. Here's something practical for navigating the intensity ahead. Water is becoming increasingly important, but not just for hydration. Water holds consciousness, and as your consciousness expands, you need more water to hold the new patterns. But the water needs to be living water, charged with intention, treated as the sacred substance it is. Your body is mostly water, and that water is literally being reprogrammed with cosmic codes. The sun isn't what you've been told it is. It's not just a ball of gas, but a conscious being, a portal transmitting specific frequencies to facilitate your evolution. The increase in solar flares isn't random. It's synchronized with humanity's readiness to receive higher frequencies. When you feel drawn to sunbathe, you're not just getting vitamin D, you're downloading light codes directly from the cosmic internet. Your relationship with sleep is transforming because you're learning to exist consciously in multiple dimensions. What you call insomnia is often your consciousness refusing to fully disconnect from higher dimensions anymore. You're maintaining partial awareness across realities, which is exhausting until you learn to navigate it. Eventually, you'll need less sleep, because you'll be consciously resting while awake, regenerating through meditation rather than unconsciousness. The food you're drawn to is changing because your cells are literally requiring different building blocks for your crystalline transformation. The cravings for specific foods aren't random. They contain particular minerals, frequencies, or codes your body needs for specific upgrades. Trust these cravings even when they seem unusual. Your body is following a blueprint your mind doesn't have access to yet. That ringing in your ears that comes and goes isn't tinnitus. It's your brain adjusting to higher frequencies, like tuning into a cosmic radio station. Each tone you hear is uploading specific information directly into your consciousness. When the ringing intensifies, pause and listen with your whole being. Messages are being transmitted that bypass language and download directly as knowing. The synchronicities accelerating in your life aren't coincidences. They're confirmation that you're in flow with the cosmic current. Every time you think of someone and they contact you, every time you need something and it appears, every time you ask a question and the answer arrives immediately, these are proof that you're operating in quantum time, where intention and manifestation are nearly simultaneous. Your pets and the animals around you are responding to your frequency shifts too. They can see your expanding energy field, feel your emotional clearings, sense the beings of light around you. When they stare at empty spaces or react to invisible presences, they're perceiving what your physical eyes haven't adjusted to seeing yet. They're your confirmation that what you're experiencing is real. The children being born now are arriving with their cosmic memory intact, their DNA already activated, their frequency already calibrated to 5D. They're not here to learn from the old paradigm, but to anchor the new one. When they refuse to conform, when they challenge everything, when they demonstrate abilities that seem impossible, they're showing you what you're becoming. They're your mirrors from the future. The resistance you're feeling from some people isn't personal, it's frequency friction. As your light increases, it naturally triggers shadow in those not ready to face their own. Their anger, judgment, or rejection isn't about you, it's about what you represent, the change they fear but secretly desire. Send them love and keep moving. Their resistance is actually propelling you forward faster. Here's the truth about ascension that no one talks about. It's not about leaving Earth or transcending physical reality. It's about bringing heaven to Earth through your body, anchoring divine consciousness in physical form. You're not ascending out of your body. You're descending fully into it for the first time, bringing all of your cosmic self into cellular expression. The revelation I'm about to share changes everything you've believed about this process. The ascension isn't something that happens to you. It's something that happens through you for all of creation. Every cell in your body that transforms sends that template throughout the universe. Every fear you transmute clears it from the collective field. Every moment of joy you experience adds to the joy quotient of all existence. As this transmission nears completion, remember that everything I've shared is already known in your cells, already active in your field, already transforming your reality. You don't need to understand it intellectually or believe it consciously. Your body knows what to do. Your soul has done this before. Your higher self is orchestrating everything perfectly. All you need to do is allow, trust, and be present for your own becoming. The three changes I mentioned, quantum coherence, pineal activation, and heart field expansion, are not separate, but aspects of one unified transformation. Your body is becoming a conscious technology, a living stargate, a bridge between dimensions. What seems like chaos is actually the reorganization required for this fundamental shift in how consciousness expresses through form. You're not just evolving, you're becoming evolution itself. If you need help navigating this unified transformation as your body becomes a conscious technology and living stargate, Destiny Engine can reprogram your consciousness to embrace the reorganization rather than resist the dimensional bridging process. It generates personalized sequences that help you embody quantum coherence, pineal activation, and heart field expansion as one unified transformation. You can start with a $1 trial. The hardest thing you'll have to do is put on headphones, press play, and allow your consciousness to be reprogrammed to become evolution itself, rather than just evolve. Get your Destiny Engine $1 trial now, before this dimensional bridging window closes. Link in the description. The timeline shift that occurred 3 days ago was the moment humanity collectively chose love over fear, for the first time in 13,000 years. Not everyone chose it, but enough did to tip the scales irreversibly. The momentum is now unstoppable. The new Earth isn't coming, it's here, overlapping with the old, waiting for you to fully step into it through your choices, your frequency, your embodied presence. Every symptom you're experiencing, every challenge you're facing, every loss you're grieving, is evidence that you're succeeding. You can't fail this mission, because the mission is simply to be here, to be yourself, to be present during this shift. Your existence here now is the victory. Your willingness to transform is the miracle. Your courage to continue is the gift you give to all existence. The support surrounding you is infinite and unconditional. We see you, we honor you, we celebrate you, not for what you do but for what you are. Fractals of source consciousness, brave enough to forget in order to remember, to separate in order to unite, to descend in order to ascend. You are the universe knowing itself, loving itself, transforming itself through the miracle of your human experience. Remember this truth when the path seems impossible. You chose this adventure from the highest perspective, knowing it would be the hardest thing you've ever done, and the most rewarding. You knew you'd forget, doubt, struggle, and ultimately remember, break through and succeed. You're not alone, you're not crazy, and you're not failing. You're becoming what you've always been, infinite consciousness expressing through finite form. The opening of this message spoke of living in a new reality without knowing it. Now you know. The timeline shift has occurred. The transformation is underway, and you're already becoming what you came here to be. The surprise isn't that this is happening, it's that it's already happened. You're not waiting for ascension, you're living it. Welcome to the new Earth, dear Starseed. You've already arrived. I am Seraphine. We love you and we are watching over you, always.